So if you told me when the new iPhone SE 2022 came out that I would take my SIM card out of my iPhone 13 Pro, use this exclusively for a month as my iPhone that I'm using, I would have told you you're crazy. I fully expected when I bought this, okay, I'll buy it, I'll test it out because it's a good value phone, a lower tier iPhone that I think people from my channel would benefit because it's a good value. Put my SIM card in, I figured after 2 weeks I'm done, right? 2 weeks, in and out, move on with my life, no more iPhone SE, move back to my iPhone 13 Pro. That's not the case, and it's been a month. This phone actually came out a month ago today that I'm recording this, and it's really surprised me. This has been one of my most surprising phones of the last 12 months. And there's been a few, like the Sony Xperia 1 Mark III, very surprising. This one also, and a couple other ones. But there's a lot of things I like about the iPhone 13 Pro. I like the ProMotion display. I like the big battery. I like that it's not a super gigantic screen like the Pro Max, but it still gives you all the same benefits and you're not missing out on anything. There's just a lot to like there. And then interstage right, we have the $429 iPhone SE 2022, and it doesn't have all those things. It's got a 4.7-inch screen. It's got a 2,000 milliamp battery. It does have 5G. It's got the A15 Bionic, 4 gigs of RAM, one camera on the back. One camera to rule them all, and darkness behind them. 12 megapixels, and then a 7 megapixel on the front. Pretty much the same as it had last go around, but it has the deep fusion that you get with the processor, the neural processing, all that stuff, computational photography. It's really stepped it up a notch. It actually does take better photos. Never mind the fact it doesn't have a night mode. If you want to take night mode pictures, it's probably not for you. But my resounding sentiment is I like this phone a lot. And you can probably tell if you're a channel member, if you follow my videos, because I've made quite a few videos about it. And I think it's a good deal. It's an exceptional deal because it actually lasts all day now. And that was the big thing that was missing with the iPhone SE 2020, which I also like. But the battery life was not very good. So I went into this thinking that I was going to get a very similar experience, but they added 5G. Well, with the A15 and then adding the little bit of extra battery in there, it actually goes all day. I get 6 hours of screen on time. Not one time, one day have I been using this phone and not made it to the end of the day. And not one time have I been like, man, the battery life on this phone is not good. So me, as somebody who uses my phone very, very, very heavily, this is going to last you all day. And you're going to like it. I almost guarantee it. I don't like to guarantee things. But if you're interested in getting this phone, you're probably going to like it. If you're not interested in getting this phone, don't go buy it because you probably won't like it. This is not for everybody. That's why they have the iPhone 11, the iPhone 12, the iPhone 13, 13 Pro, 13 Pro Max. There's a lot of them out there. This guy right here, or gal, however you want to look at it, is designed for people who want this phone. So if you are using an older phone, if you're still hanging on to your iPhone 6S, your iPhone 7, your iPhone 8, your iPhone SE 2020, maybe your original iPhone SE, this is probably the phone that you would want to upgrade to because you get to keep the same design, but it has the most modern smartphone processor in the world. It has all this power. It's going to last you for years and years. And I've used this illustration several times. The iPhone 6S is still being supported by Apple. And it's on what, like year 7 now? It's been around for a while, and it's still trucking along. So this right here is going to last you a good long time. And the cameras are very serviceable, especially if you have good lighting. If you have good lighting, you get good selfies, you get good quality photos on the back, and you also get 4K video at 60 frames per second on the back, which is really something you wouldn't expect in a small $400 iPhone like this. So you don't get it on the front. You do get 4K, but it's at 30 frames per second on the front. But that's still better than a lot of other phones. There's a lot of phones coming out of China that they're still limiting to 1080p at 30 frames per second on the front. So you're not really making a lot of compromises here. Yeah, it doesn't have a bigger screen. It doesn't have a gigantic battery, but it doesn't need it. And it's not trying to be that. This phone is not trying to be anything other than what you see at face value, but doing that really well. So if you're in the market to get an iPhone with a home button on it that has Touch ID, which works really well, Touch ID works great. You don't have Face ID, which you probably don't want that if you're buying this phone, and that's fine. I haven't missed Face ID once since I got this phone. I absolutely love being able to pull it out of my pocket. I can unlock the sucker before I take it out of my pocket if I want, because all you have to do, push your finger on the home button, and you're good to go. So everything about this phone, they've nailed it down pat. And of course they would. They've used this design for the better part of, I don't know how long now, almost a decade? A really long time. And also, it's got really loud speakers. The speakers are really good on this thing. You can use all the great Apple accessories with it if you happen to have those. You can use your AirPods. You can use iMessage on here, which you can use across your MacBook or your iPad, all that jazz. And you get all the Apple services, Apple TV Plus. You get Apple Card, Apple Pay, Apple basically everything out the wazoo. So if you're in the market to get a $400 iPhone and you want one that's going to last you for years and years and years, it's very simple, very straightforward. No craziness, no shenanigans, no Face ID, no big notch up top. Of course, you do have the bezels on the top and the bottom. But that's kind of how things go with this phone. That's basically the moral of the story here. Honestly, I wouldn't mind if they made the whole thing a screen and it kind of wrapped around the power button down here. I mean, that's kind of a big indention. That wouldn't work out. But yeah, I like it. And I'm very hopeful for a Plus model. Maybe we'll see it. Maybe we won't at one point in time someday. Maybe. Probably not. It was rumored when the iPhone SE 2020 came out that there would be a Plus model, which basically would be like a remodeled iPhone 8 Plus, which I would totally be all over. 5.5-inch screen, 1080p, home button, Touch ID, all that great stuff. I'd love to see that, Apple. So I just wanted to come back, circle back around again. I didn't realize it's been a month. I've been using this phone with my SIM card in it for 1 month. I'm recording on my iPhone 13 Pro right now, and if I have to say anything, that's the only real drop-off I have. I have to use my iPhone 13 Pro to record. This one wouldn't quite work out so well. One, I can't record 4K 60 on the front. That's what I record all my videos in. Plus, the camera's just not quite as good. So if you want to use it for YouTube videos, as long as you use the back camera, in most situations, you might be all right. But that's the only drawback. But still, I've really been enjoying using it, and I don't really have a whole lot of inclination to move it back to my other phone. No, you can't have it. I got to record my videos with it. But yeah, it's been a really surprising phone. It has surprised me how much I've enjoyed it, how much I've seen a lot of other people enjoying it, and it's just straightforward, to the point, simple, no frills, solid, enjoyable, reliable experience. And that's what I think a lot of people want, and that's what this phone brings to the table. So that's all I've got. Really just a 1 month follow-up to say, I can't believe it's been a month. I'm still using it. I've liked it. And if you want one, you'll probably like it too. That's pretty much all I have to say about it. So if you have any questions or comments, then please go down to the comment section. We can certainly talk about it. I've made a lot of videos about it already, so there's a library of stuff you can check out if you're interested. And if you enjoyed the video, and if you want to see more videos like this, then please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.